I really appreciated in the book when you wrote about the difference between sympathy and empathy.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I'll talk about the experience in the book because it was such a cool experience being on a plane, seeing this woman across the aisle who was so sad, and clearly just having cried or about to cry, and watching the flight attendant, me thinking, God, I want to reach out to her, but feeling that would be totally inappropriate. The moment the flight attendant saw her, she just went up to her and was like, honey, what's wrong? And the woman was probably 15 years the flight attendant's senior. And the woman said, I lost my dad last week. And the flight attendant, without hesitation, just took this woman's hands and bent over and looked her in the eyes. And she's like, I've been there, honey. I've been there. And she held this woman, and the woman cried. It was this beautiful, beautiful moment. And to me, that was empathy encapsulated right there. And the difference for me between sympathy and empathy is, and I don't think there's anything wrong with sympathy, but sympathy is the idea of I feel sorry for you or I pity you, but I'm not really allowing myself to settle into my own experience of what you're experiencing, or even into what I imagine you're feeling in your experience. There's a distance that's created with sympathy. Empathy is an invitation to connect. Empathy is I see you, I feel your pain. Because so often with people we can empathize from having, the flight attendant clearly lost her dad, that's what she was saying to the woman. So she was empathizing from the place of really knowing the pain of losing a father and being willing to be present in that. But we can also, because in our world is so desperate for empathy right now, everyone's warring and fighting and screaming at each other rather than taking a moment to consider, what is it like to walk in your shoes? And when we do that, it doesn't mean we can really imagine or really understand. I can't really understand what it's like to be an African American person in our country, or an African American male or a female in our country. But I can take the time to imagine what it might be like in this circumstance, and that's empathy. Mm-hmm. And when we do that, we allow for deeper connection, instead of just dismissing people and their experience. Because the moment you take the time to consider someone else's pain, it shifts how you respond to the person. It's we tend to come to the situation with a much more gentle, much more open, much more compassionate response.
Yes.